It's a process, guys. It's a process. Sweaty day today. Woo! Tuesday in the books. Roll that beautiful bean footage. So today was my oldest daughter's first day of middle school. And yesterday or last night, we had her middle school orientation. She liked it. You know, at first you could tell that she was a little overwhelmed with how many people were running around, and there was like 2 fights in the hallway while we were just walking around taking her to her different classes, and so that kind of put her off a little bit. As a parent, there's a line in the sand, right? There's on one side of this line, you want to protect your children from every possible bad thing that could ever happen to them. You know, you can be Marlin, or you can be Dory. And yes, I'm quoting Finding Nemo. On the other side of the line, it's Dory. If you don't let anything bad happen, then maybe nothing will ever happen to them. You know, meaning they need that friction to grow as a person. You know, you can't make a table without some sandpaper type of thing. And I'm struggling with it a lot more than I thought I would. You know, when they're in elementary school, it's easy because everyone basically has, I mean, there's obviously exceptions to everything, but everyone's basically on the same level. In middle school, and the middle school in our tiny town is attached to the high school. And so there are kids who are 18 that are graduating high school 3 doors down from where my daughter is going to school, and she's 12. You know, so it's just a struggle to let them go. Because you know bad things are going to happen. They're going to struggle. You know, they're going to have bad days. They're going to come home crying sometimes. And as a father, you have to fight the urge to go to the school, find the young boy who is responsible for your daughter's misery, and you have to stop yourself from taking him out back and beating his ass. It's just, it breaks you, you know. You don't really get it until it happens to your kid. Just one of those things that I gotta get over. You know, she's gotta experience the bad things in order to appreciate the good things. And it's all a part of growing up. Because even when she was younger, you know, like she would slip and fall, and it'd be like, yeah, I told you not to run in the kitchen, type of thing. Told you not to do the thing that I just watched you do. That's one thing. You know, that's them learning the basics. That's them learning how to deal with their own consequences, of which I am 100% for. What I'm struggling with is being okay with my kids being subject to other people's failures as a parent, or other people's failures at having consequences for their actions. That's the part I struggle with. Because you guys know, all of y'all went to public school. It's a shit show. But it's supposed to be a shit show in a lot of ways. Teaches people how to deal with adversity and how to deal with little POSs running around not getting in trouble for the shit things that they do. It just sucks. You know, I thought I was gonna react better to it when my daughter got into the bigger school with a locker and 7 classes to go to every day and 7 different teachers to have to deal with, and now she's not just dealing with the same 20 kids in her class. She's dealing with 20 kids times 7, which is 140 kids, by the way. And no, I did not need a calculator. Okay, maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe it's because I had such a hard time in school getting along with, you know, I didn't. With my personality, it was a hard go of it, you know. And she has a lot of my personality, and I guess I'm just protective. I want her to fit in. I want her to be happy. I want her to be successful. But I can only help her with 2 of those things, and that's being successful and happy. I can't help her fit in, and that's sometimes the most important part when you're a kid at that age, and that's the struggle. I don't know, I want it to be easier for her than it was for me, and seeing her have the anxiety that she had in the middle school orientation auditorium, I don't know, it's just kind of hard for me. But afterwards was cool, you know, we had pizza, we swam in the pool in the backyard, we had a good time. But I don't want this is a weird thing to say, but I don't want my shortcomings, my defects in my brain and my personality to have a negative effect on her and her progression. And I guess when I saw her having anxiety in a room full of people, because there was chaos, you know, there's movement over here, and there was people whispering over here and talking going on over there, and watching my daughter struggle with that really kind of twinged a nerve, because that's the same struggles I have. And I don't want, I just don't want her to pick that up from me, you know, because I never used to be like that. I used to thrive in chaos, and then military happened, and now I just want peace and quiet all the time. And I think my want of peace and quiet all the time bled off on her, and the world isn't peaceful, nor is it quiet. So I don't know, man, I'm just kind of struggling with maybe thinking I did a oopsie by me wanting peace and quiet all the time. Maybe she thinks that that's how it's supposed to be, and it's, I don't know, just ramblings of a father, you know. I think the youngest one will be all right. She embraces the chaos, you know. She is my youngest, she is chaos incarnate, so she'll be all right. It used to be the reverse, you know. They've kind of, their personalities have almost in the past year and a half, 2 years, have just completely flipped on each other. My oldest used to be the wild one, the one causing the trouble, but as she's gotten older, and she's a preteen now, so she's kind of mellowed out in a lot of ways. Wants to be cool and the what have yous, and it's the youngest one that's just like, let's party it up, you know. So yeah, I think the youngest one will, I think she'll have an easier go of it. Yeah, not too long of a video today, just kind of for my daughter's first day of middle school today and my youngest daughter's first day of third grade. So just kind of, I'm feeling away, you know, just my kids are growing up. Like I said, it's making me feel away. They say that, you know, it's a tale as old as time. You know that whole cats in the cradle thing, where when your kid is young and you're busy trying to provide for them, and you're still in the process of building your career to try to set your children and your family up for success, so they would want for nothing, but in doing so they are wanting for your time and attention, while your primary focus is setting the family up financially. Their children, and they want to have fun with you, they want to make memories with you. The kids aren't going to remember the fact that you were able to afford a nicer bicycle for them for Christmas because you worked all those extra hours, but they certainly will remember the fact that you worked all those extra hours away from home. Luckily, I have been blessed that I've been able to go to every single one of my daughter's soccer games, and I've been able to go to all of their jiu-jitsu practices. But as they get older, I find myself, my priorities shifting and wanting to spend more quality time with them, because pretty soon all of that's going to be gone. If you think about it, as a parent, you get 18 Christmases with your kids. That's it. It's 18 birthdays, 18 Christmases before they're out on your own. And of that 18, they're only going to have like 12 of those that they're actually going to have any decent memories of when they're an adult. You know, before they're 6, they're not going to remember anything. At least most people. I don't know when the average person comes online or whatever and actually maintains long distance or long-term memory, but and then of those 12, at least 4 of them, they're not really going to want anything to do with you because of the teenage years, the miserable ones at least. So what is that? 12 minus 4? You get 8. You get 8 solid Christmases to build everlasting memories with. That's 8 Christmases, that's 8 birthdays, that's 8 4th of Julys. That's not a lot. You know, it breaks your heart. Because when they're toddlers, you're just like, oh my God, shut up, you know? And then all of a sudden, a blink, and they're 12 and they're sitting in front of you and they're texting their friends on their cell phone. And you go, what's going on, home skillet? And they just go, I'm texting Dad. You just go, oh, all right. Well, shit. And you know, you just, before you know it, you're on the back burner. And that's okay, because that's a part of growing up. Yeah, I'm going to tell this story. So, cut to my daughter is, my oldest daughter's about 5, maybe 6. And again, I was active duty for 6 years. I swear like a sailor, even though I was an airman. You know, it's a fact of life. I don't curb my language around my kids because the rest of the world isn't going to either. And I don't want them to be offended by language. I think that creates weak people. Anyways, either way, to each their own. But so my children hear me swear all the time. They know they're not allowed to do it, but they hear me do it. It's good for them. It builds character. I don't care who you are. Cut to, we're in the middle of Walmart. It's just my oldest and me. And like I said, I think she's 5 or 6 or whatever. And I'm grabbing a bag of dog food, and my daughter's holding on to the shopping cart, right? She's up like this because she wanted to push the shopping cart. And I said, you know, wait here, sweetie. And I walked down the aisle about 10 feet away from her, grabbed a big bag of dog food, and out of the corner of my ear, I hear Marley say, "Oh, excuse me, ma'am." And I turn and I look, and it's this old couple, you know, I mean, Leave It to Beaver, fucking think of the old TV shows and picture that old couple. There you go. That's who was standing there. And the elder lady, she goes, "Oh my goodness, what a sweet little child you are." And then she looks at me, and I don't look the best, you know. I'm covered in tattoos, but whatever. She looks at me and she goes, "Is this your precious little angel?" And I said, "Absolutely, ma'am. She's, yes, that one's mine." And she's like, "She is so polite." I said, "Thank you very much. You guys have a sweet day," you know. I put my bag of dog food in the shopping cart. And when I did, it shook my daughter's hand. And in her left hand, she was trying to hold on to her sippy cup at the same time. And she drops her sippy cup. And she, without even thinking twice, man, my sweet 5-year-old, sweet little angel, she just goes, "Fuck!" And oh man, that old couple was about 10 feet away, dude, and I just was like, oh no, you know. And the old gentleman, he just starts laughing, you know, and he's like, "Yes." And the old lady just looked appalled, you know, she just looked shooketh, if you will. And and I just left the cart. I was like, "Nope, we're leaving." And I grabbed Marley by the hand and I was like, "Come on, sweetie, let's leave the store really quick, like, you know." And so we just booked it out. I was like, "Screw it, I'll come back tomorrow and grab dog food. We're not sticking around for this." Oh man, it's one of my favorite stories of her. I then told her promptly in the truck on the way home, "Hey, we don't say those words, you know." And she was just like, What did I say?" And I was like, you don't say that word. You said a bad word in the store, and we don't do that." And she was just like, "Oh, okay, my bad." In her sweet little 5-6-year-old little girl voice. It was adorable, man. In a way, I was like, heck yeah, you know, she saying funny words in context. It was so funny, but the other part of me was just like, oh no, another one of those failures as a parent type of thing. Man, was it funny though. Holy shit. Yeah. Anyways, I'm home again. So you guys take it easy. Keep the shiny side up. I'll see you guys when I see you.